So hello guys, welcome back to Coding Techniques again. Today we are going to design a finance application UI, and this is a very little bigger application, so we are going to divide this application into 2 to 3 parts. Let's see how it goes. So the first part will hold some design. Let's get started with that today. So you have already seen the intro, what exactly we are going to build. So this is the UI that we are going to build today. Let's get started with this particular one where we have the tabs one and the home page, which is looking pretty lovely according to me. And this design, I have seen it somewhere, so this is not completely which I have designed on my own. So I have seen it somewhere and I thought of building it up on my own. So all the code is built by me, but yeah, I have taken reference of this UI from somewhere else. I just saw it somewhere. So I just thought of building that up. So do let me know in the comment section whether you like this UI or not. So I'm getting started with this particular designing part. So at first I have created a new project out here, which you can see. This is the command that I have used for creating a new project, which is a blank project. I'm not using the tabs one, which is a default layout that Ionic gives us, because that will give us something which I don't want. Alright, I want to design my own tabs layout, which you have already seen in my previous video. So I have done that up, and then I've just opened this up in Visual Studio Code. Alright, so it asked me for a free account. I've said no, and finally got my code up and running in Visual Studio Code. And I have run out here Ionic serve, which helped me to run this in browser. So this code is running now in browser, and this is the design, the default design that we can see out here. So what I'll do now, at first I'm going to remove this home page directly. I'm going to delete that up and move to trash. So I'll get errors, I know that. First of all, I'll go to the app routing and clear this up. I don't need this stuff. Alright, now if I don't do that, how the errors are going to be solved? So for that, I will simply create some pages on my own. Let's go with that one by one. So I will create a page, Ionic G page, within the pages folder, which will be created automatically. That's what I want to make in hierarchy. Within the pages, I will have all the pages. Within the components, I'll have all the components. That's how I keep it. So within the pages, I will have a tabs page out there. So let me create that up. Alright, the pages folder is created, and I have the tabs page out here, all the files which is needed. Now within the tabs, I want some other pages too, because in this design, this will be for the tabs one, right? And the other parts, the home page, the settings page, the transaction page, and one more is there. So we are going to create that up too along with it. But at first, let's design that up, right? So for designing it up, I first need to change the theme of the application. So I'll just go to the theme and to the variable.scss. Finally, out here, I'm going to change all the colors. So I'll just directly change all the colors out here. So you just focus out here. So I'm going to paste the one that I have. Now you see, in the primary color, I have some greenish type of a color. And for secondary out here, I have given some light color, greenish light. Okay. For the medium color also, for the light color also I have changed. And I have a white color also present out here, which I have created on my own, for which you need to pass this particular class. That's how you can create a new color which is not present out here. So this is how well you can work with this. So you will get all the things within the source code. So just check, the link is in the description, and if you haven't checked the courses also, the link of that also is present in the description. You can check that out. Alright, moving ahead, you won't see any changes out here because we need to design something to look at the changes, right? So in order to do that up, what I'm going to do in the app routing, I'm going to change it to tabs at first. Alright, once that is done, something is coming up, correct? But I don't want that in the tabs one. Instead, I just need to work with the tabs design, correct? So for the tabs one, what I'm going to have, I'm going to paste few code so that we can do it quickly, because these things I have already covered up in the previous videos many times. Like in the plant one, I have used that up in the plant application. So you can just check that out if you want to learn. Alright, so these are the things that I'm going to use. Alright. So I have used an iron tabs, an iron tab bar, and then within that the iron tab button where I'm redirecting to the home page. So I'm going to have the home page, transactions card, and settings page. Alright. And the icon will change based on the which one is highlighted or not, and where the actual tabs are showing up. That is a most important thing, because I'm going to redesign this up little better. Alright. So but at first, let me just get rid of the errors. So for getting rid of the errors, I'll go to the TypeScript file and I'm going to paste few code out here also, which will be the view child at first, so that I can get the identification for this particular tab, so that if I can get this identifier, then I can simply work with this particular tabs in order to do few stuff. What is that? Let me just show you. Yes, we are using it up to get the selected tab. All right, that is what it's being used. Let me just import that also. Ion tabs, import it from at Ionic/Angular. Once that is done, everything is good to go, right? Last one, there will be another. Fine. Everything is good to go now. This function will help us to set the current tab, which I'm setting it to the selected tab, and this selected tab will be checked out here every time. Let me just close this. Fine. Now you can see everything, and these are the icons that is showing up. So by default, where it will redirect to, it will redirect to the home page. But out here, I don't have anything as such which can be done. So I need to do that up. I need to create some pages for that. So let's create the 4 pages, then only we can have the routes and we can arrange in that manner. So let's do that up. Let me get inside the tabs page, and within the tabs page only I'm going to create at first the home page, create it, then I'll create the settings page. After that I'll create the card page, then the transactions page. Fine. Once all of that is created, I will go to the tabs page, routing one, because I will have all the files out here and I need to pass this particular routes within the children of the tabs one. Then only I can track the tabs clicking and the tabs will still appear. That's how we can work with that. I have already explained in the earlier videos. You can just check that out if you are still confused. So let me just cut all of this. All right, and we need to paste inside this particular array, but I will add some more things. Just check this out. So this is the code that I have pasted, where I have all the other things as same one, but this thing is changed. I have passed another default path, which is the home page path. So by default, it will redirect to the home one. As you can see out here, if I just click out here, this is the transactions one, this is the card one, and this is the settings one. So this things is working pretty nicely. Now I'll simply go for designing the tabs layout at first, and then we'll go for the home page one. So let's do that up quickly. I'll go to the tabs page HTML, and now in order to work with the designing part of it, I'll go to the SCSS. Now out here at first I'll work with the ion tabs. So this is SCSS, so we can have the hierarchy of things. So where I'm going to pass the background to be the secondary color at first, and then I'll work with the ion tab bar, within which I'm going to set this particular styling, because I've given position to be relative and width to be 90%, so that I can have some spacing in the left and right side, which you can see out here, correct? Now this transform is being applied. Now if I don't pass this transformation, what will happen? You just check it out. You can see it is just moving towards the right side. All right, it is not transformed properly. So in order to have it in the center, we have to do this transformation. And then I have passed left to be 50%. If I don't do that up, then what will happen? It will move towards the left side. So these are the few problems which is encountered, which you can tackle out by doing this particular styling. All right, now border radius is given, that's why it is round shape. Then padding bottom, I don't need any padding bottom, so I've just removed it up if there is any default one. And I've given a border also, which is looking pretty lovely out here. All right, and then any overflow will be hidden. Then a box shadow is also given, which is looking pretty nice out here, which you can see. Little glowy effect is being given out here. And then what is the height of this particular ion tabs? I've given it 80 pixel. If I don't give that, just check this out, it will shrink. All right, I don't want that, so I'll just undo. And then the background color, I've given the light color, which I have just changed in the themes. That's what it is, and it is looking pretty nice. So this is the background which is being given to our ion tabs. So we have moved the things or the tab layout towards the top, but the background is still the same, so it is taking the background color as different one, and the ion content color is different. That is why it is looking in this particular manner. So I hope you're clear with the designing part, and I'm sure it is looking pretty lovely according to me. Just leave it in the comments how you feel like. Now this is not it. I want to do something else too. I want to play around with the ion tab button. Let me just show you, where I'm giving background color to be the lighter one. These are the background colors, and the color, if there is any text, that color will change. All right, and then the icon size, I have make it bigger, and this one was not needed, so I just removed it. Let me just remove this one, and even this is needed or not. No, this is needed. This is for the color of the icons and everything. If you have text also, it will change. This background color will not have any effect, I suppose, but still let me keep it. I don't mind giving it. And this icon size, if I don't give it, you will see a smaller icon size, or similar icon size is there, but I have just set it to 1.9 rem. That will be better. So this is the design which I wanted to have, and I think I have succeeded in doing that. So which is looking pretty much the same. Let's check it out. Right, it's looking the same, correct? That's better. So once that is done, and what I'll do now, I'll change it to iPhone 13. I think that will look nice. Reload it up. All right, so now this is looking nice. So this is fine. The design is okay. Now let's go ahead and work with the other stuff, which will be our home page. So in the home page, at first I'll work with the designing part, because we will not have this custom tab header and everything. This time we'll do something different. So in the home page, I'm going to paste few code. Let's check it out. So I'm having the same iron header only, but the design will be different. Just look at this designing part, guys. So I'm having out here welcome, and the username, well, I have just given my name out here. You can just change it whichever name you want to give out. And then finally here you can pass the image, and I have taken the image from my assets folder, which I have already placed out here. Let me just show you. In the assets one, in the imgs one, I have all these files. All right, this one will be needed later on. So I have all these things present out here. So maximum of the images I think I have taken from free pick. So that is free, but you have to pass the attribution. So remember that up. So these are the images that I'm going to use. And finally, let me just close this. All right, let's move ahead. So this is the header where I have the toolbar, and the title. Well, in the title only I have passed this iron label and everything, and I have given the mode to be MD, so that in iOS mode, this is the iOS mode, right? It is not coming at the center, which it always comes, right? So if I give it as MD, that means the Android one, material design one, so it will just stay at the left side. That's what I want. And that's how I have designed this up with the colors that is needed. And finally, our iron title is done. And then at the very end, I have just passed the iron avatar and given the slot to be end. That is how it is kept at the end side. So this is the iron header which I have designed, and I have given no border out here. I don't want any border. That is why no border is being given. Now let's design the iron content out here. Now for designing the iron content, let's see what do we have in our design out here. So we have the proper slider actually, which you can see, right? So it's going to slide and give you the results. So we need to use swiper.js for that, and I need to install it up. So npm iswiper, I have already explained it in multiple videos about swiper.js, right? So let me just install it quickly. Once that is done, I will go to the global.scss, and here I need to pass some imports. So let me just paste the few code. So these are the imports that I'm going to use. I'm going to use the keyboard and pagination part, so that we can see the dots at the bottom, and the keyboard, well, I've given so that I can, if I click on any keyboard button, it will detect that up. That is why I've given that up. You can use whichever things you need from there itself. You can import it up, or you can simply have the CSS bundle and you can use everything you want. All right. So either these three or whichever you want for each and every part, so that it will be smaller and precise. But if you want the whole bundle, you can simply use this up and comment all this stuff. Fine. So I have given some styling to the bullet one also. So the bullets which will be appearing, let me just comment this up. Let me just show you one by one. I think that will be better. So now let's go back to our home page, and in the home page, in the iron content, what am I going to do? Well, at first, let me just pass the color to be primary out here in the iron content, so that this will look the same color. Now it's looking better, right? And then what am I going to do? Well, I'm going to have some object array out in our TypeScript file. Now out here, I'm simply going to have an accounts array of type any, which will be passed as an empty array, and in the ng on it, I'm going to paste this code. So this is an JSON object array. So I've just passed 3 out here. Now let's design this up in our HTML file. So in the HTML file, I'm going to have an iron row, and within that all the slides, I'm going to have that up. Let's do that. Now let me paste out here few more code. Yeah, you must be wondering why I'm pasting all the code, because that is necessary to do it quickly, and I'll explain you few stuff, and few stuff I've already explained you long back in multiple videos, so I'm not just covering up each and everything again and again. All right, and it's not that I'm not covering little bit also. I'm just giving you a brief idea about few stuff like swiper one. Correct. Now, why this is giving an error out here? Because in order to use swiper.js, you need to import some module in your wherever you're using it up. It's better to use it in a component, but I'm using it out here directly. So I'll just pass in the home page module, swiper module. You can see suggestion is coming up and I have imported it up. Once the importing is done, what's wrong? Okay, it is imported from a wrong place maybe. Let me remove it and try it again. No, that's not what I want. Swiper. Okay, let me import this and I'll make it swiper module. No, the import is still wrong. Let me just paste the one which I wanted from swiper angular. That's what we need. That's what we need. And that's what I have pasted out here. Now it is coming up. All right. So let me just try this up. Okay. Showing, and it is showing. It is working at least, right? Now we need to style this up the way we want. But before that, there is an error in the banner config. Okay, I need to work on that. Banner config, that will be equals to an empty object for the time being. Or instead of giving this up, I'll just give the type of it. That will be swiper options. Otherwise, this will give some error later on. Why to take any risk? And I'll import it from swiper. Now, in order to pass the configuration for that, I will pass it in the ng after the content is checked. So for that, I need to inherit an interface. So for doing that up, after content checked, I need to have this up. And I need to use a function out here, ng after content is checked, and this is not needed. This will be later on. We need that up, not now. So this is the code we need. Now, in order to make that work, what exactly we need to do? Pagination is being used, and we can use the autoplay also, but autoplay I'm not going to use out here. So what exactly we need to do? We need to import some few other stuff. So if you want to use pagination and all other stuff, you need to change this import and paste this one, where you will have swiper core, which I'm going to just explain you right now, or I'll just show you what exactly I'm using it. But autoplay also, if you want to use, you have to pass it out here. For the pagination also, if you want to use, you have to pass it out here, and swiper option was already there. Now this swiper core is used to install the swiper modules. So let me just do that up out here. So install swiper module, swiper core.use. And if you don't want this autoplay, you can simply remove it from here, but I'll just skip it, or let's remove it. I don't think we need that up. Let's remove it. Fine. Everything is good to go. If you just pass out here autoplay, then you need to do that up. Otherwise, it's not going to work pretty nicely. All right. So everything is good to go now. You can see the dots, which is having the bluish color, I suppose, right? I feel so. Correct. Now it's time to design this up because it's not looking that good. So for that, I'll go to the SCSS and work with this particular stuff. Now in the SCSS, I want to start with the header at first because I'm not still very much happy with the header part. So we can design a bit more to this. So I just thought when I will be jumping to the SCSS, I'll show you all together. All right. So now it's time to do that up. Let's do it. So let me paste few code out here for the ion header. Now in the ion header, I'm having the toolbar where I have given the padding start and end so that we can have some spacing at the left and right side. Then to the ion title, well, I have given max width so that it will not exceed this particular stuff, all right, and won't reach out here. It won't look that great. So I've given this max width of like 40 VH so that if the title is bigger, then it will restrict it to 40 VH. It won't go out of it. Then what I have done, I have worked with the ion label and passed the font size of 1 rem to the ion text, and to the p tag, the ion text within that, I have passed a bigger font size. All right, that's why this is bigger, the p tag one, Nikhil AG. Fine, that's what I have done for the ion title. And for the avatar, what have I done? I have given the height and width so that it looks pretty nice, and I've given a nice border out here, which you will also feel it's giving the glossy effect, which I feel like, and it's looking pretty lovely out here. That's what I have given. And then to the IMG tag, I have given a max width of 100%. So I want it to take the full width. All right. So that's what I have done out here, and it's looking pretty nice, better than the earlier one, right? After this is done, I can simply work with the iron content and this iron row so that I can make it much nicer. The way we can see in this particular screen, I want the same one, right? So let's do that up. All right, so for the iron content, for the iron row, what am I going to do? Let me paste this particular stuff. So in the iron row, I have passed position to be relative, padding I've given little bit so that it can take the proper size. The text within that and everything will look pretty nice. Then I've given proper height to that of 34 VH. If I don't give that, you will see what happens. It will shrink up, right? I don't want that. That is why I've given a height to that. Then I've given a background, which will be the gradient one. All right, let me remove this, not needed. I've just tried few more stuff, so I'm just removing that up, which is not needed. All right, then I've given a border radius and some margin. So margin is very much necessary, because if I don't give this particular margin, you can see it is taking the proper sizes and everything, which I don't want that. So that is why I've given proportionate margin, which I feel was looking nice. Then for the swiper one, within that div, I work with the iron label, and to the p tag, well, there is a class that is being passed. Let's check it out. Let me just close this, or should I go directly? So for the p tag, I have given a class of ACCAMT. That is the account amount, whatever will be passed out here. So account.balance is being passed. So that is what I'm tracking, and I'm giving a margin of 1 REM and 0, so that this particular amount will look pretty nice and bigger. Right, so margin top and bottom is being given, and left and right is set to 0. Then font size is 3 REM, pretty much bigger. Then a font weight of 700 is way better, and it is giving it a great look, which I feel like it's pretty nice, and it is matching with our design, right? But the background is not matching as expected, correct? For that, what exactly we need to do? We need to play around with CSS only, but in a different manner. Let me just show you what exactly I need to do out here. So after this particular iron row, I'll paste another iron row of class banners only, because the class banners is being used for this particular iron row, because I'll be using many iron rows out here. And in this banners one, I am using this particular thing after. So this is what you need to use in order to change the thing out here, which I've already shown, I think, in the Instagram application maybe. So that same thing I've applied out here, and I've given position to be absolute, so that there is a wrapper on it, and which will give you this particular background which we need. If I don't give this background, you will see what happens. It will have the earlier background only, right? That is what I've done. So this is the thing which you need to do, if you want to like have some other designs on the top of that. Now, if you just move this, now this is looking nice, correct? So the whole idea of doing all these things is to have this particular border, pretty nice border, right? Which is up till here, isn't it? And it is not crossing this part. So this part is empty. In order to achieve all of this, you need to try with all this possibility, and trust me, it took a lot of time to make this happen, because like I was just trying to have the same design which I just saw, and I was just trying few combinations, and it worked. All right, so after having this part, does it look the same? Yes, this part looks the same, which I can see out here, right? And this is looking lovely, but the bullets are not looking nice, correct? And for which I have already pasted few code which I need to uncomment. Then it's going to give you the same effect. Let's do that first and then understand that up. So basically I have just changed the background color of the bullet for each and every one, all right, to the light color with an opacity of 0.33, and I've given opacity out here 1. But yeah, RGBA color is given. So the last one is basically for the opacity that is being passed. Now with the one that is active, that means the first one that is active, or the second one out here, let me just go for the second one, whichever it's active. Now I have given a different background color of white color to that, and given a width of 40 pixels so that it is stretching, all right, it is becoming bigger, and a border radius of 4 pixels or 5 pixels. You can just try. I stick to 4 pixels. It was looking nice. So that's what you need to do if you want to make it enlarge. All right, so that's what I have done. Now this is done. This is achieved pretty nicely. So the home page design is working pretty nicely as of now. I need to simply work with the another iron row. Let's work with that now. So I'll just minimize it up and go to the HTML part. close this. Now after this particular iron row, what am I going to do? Well, I'm going to have another iron row where all the things will be centered up, and I've given a class of feature list. And I'll be checking out here if it exists or not. So features, we need to have that particular array, otherwise it will keep on giving me error out here, which I don't want. And then the swiper is being used. So what exactly we are going to achieve, that's clearly shown in this particular one. That's what I want to achieve. All right, let's do that up. So in order to do that up, at first I need to get rid of the error. For that, I'll go to the home page TypeScript and have few other properties. One is the feature config, which I need, and then the features array, which I also need. So at first in the ng on it, I'm going to have that particular array of feature list. Well, let me paste that up. So this is the features which I want to have, where I've given an ID, then the color, then the icon, which one I'm going to pass, and then the name of that particular feature. So this is the thing that will come up out here, and this is the way it is coming up by default, but I don't want in that particular manner. I want it to be a little different, for which I'm going to change the slide per view in this particular manner, 3.5 slides per view, and that's shown out here, but the design is not, it's breaking, right? We'll fix that up, don't need to worry about anything. So in order to fix the design, we have to go to the CSS, right? SCSS actually. Let's go there and work with it. So for the feature list one, what exactly I'm going to do? Well, let me just paste few code again. Now for this particular iron row of class feature list, I'm going to have some padding at first so that we can have some spacing at the top and bottom. And then I will make the display to be flex so that it looks in this particular manner, because I've given the flex direction to be of column. Then, and if I don't give this, let me just remove this up. You see, it is not aligned properly. I want it to align properly. All right, you can use iron row, iron column also, but I want to do it in this particular manner, which will be easier and pretty nicely done. So align items to be center, then justify content to be center so that it is aligned properly at the center. If I don't give this to, then you see what happens. You can see this is not showing up as expected. That's why we need this. Then the iron button, which I'm going to have out here, will have a border radius of 15 pixel and a height of 8 VH. Now what is this button, which is particularly this particular button, which I have passed out here? All right, so this is the button which is having the icon. That's what I have passed in the SCSS, the border radius and height of it, so that it becomes bigger but not great in width, right? Then the iron label font size, I have just changed it out here in the SCSS, and it's looking pretty lovely and similar to the one which I have out here. All right, so I'm happy with this particular design one. I hope it's clear to you. I'm just not explaining each and every minor details because I've already covered up lot many things in the earlier videos. So this time I'm just going to show you the design little rapidly. All right. Okay, so up till here everything is good to go. Now the next thing is pretty much interesting. That will be our iron list, which is looking different out here because I'll have a list of transactions. Let's work on that. Now before starting to work with the transaction UI part, I need to have the array of objects. Let's do that up. Basically just JSON data I want. So in the TypeScript one, I'm going to declare another property called transactions, which will be of type any array, and it will be initialized to an empty array. Now let me just design another array for the transactions, where I'm going to have to whom I'm doing the transaction and on which date, what is the amount for that, and I've just given a dummy ID for every transaction. All right, so this is the array that I'm going to use. Now let's work with the designing part. So I'll go to the HTML. Now after this iron rows are done, let's work with that. So I'm going to start with an iron list to which I've given a class of transactions, and I'm checking out here if there is any transactions or not. If it does not exist, then I'm not going to get inside this particular iron list. All right. So within this iron list, well, at first I will have an iron list header. That's looking nice, right? I've given the color to be medium. Then I'm going to have the iron item, but I will have all the iron items within an iron item group. Well, that will help in designing purpose only. That's why I've given that up. I just need a wrapper to hold all the iron items in one go, because the iron list is already having iron list header also. That's why I don't want that. So ion item group, it won't take any size actually, no margin, no padding, so there is no effect of that. That's pretty great. So within the ion item group, let me simply have an ion item, which you can pass it in a component also, but I'll do it directly out here. I pasted the code. So I've just given lines to be full, and ng4 I have used out here for the transactions, so it will show all the transactions at one go. And then within this I'm using an ion thumbnail, which you can see out here. So this is the ion thumbnail for the image that I'm using, and I'm getting these images from the assets folder, which I have already pasted. You can just check it in the source code, but remember, those icons are not free, they are taken from free pics, so you have to get the attribution for that. So I would request you to get your own icons. All right, then out here in the image one, I have passed the imgs, and I'm checking out here if the transaction amount is greater than equals to 0. All right, then I'm showing upright image, otherwise the down left arrow image. This will show up whether the money is deducted from your account or added to your account, like the transaction is in or out. That's what it is tracking out here. All right, so this red one is a down left arrow image, and upright image is this green one. Fine. Now this alignments and the sizes are not proper. We'll work with that, don't need to worry. Then this is the ion thumbnail. Then we have the ion label, within which we have the ion text where the transaction to whom it is being done is mentioned out here. Fine. So this is the thing. What is the date of the transaction is being passed at the bottom in the p tag within the ion text. All right. Once that is done, the ion label is done, and after that I have another ion text to which I have given the color to be primary color, where I am holding the transaction. Now this is very much interesting. I've given the slot to be end so that it appears at the right hand side. For me, means for this particular design, at the end side, if you're using from direction from right to left in this particular manner, then it will be appearing at the left side. So I hope you know about it, RTL and LTR. So out here I have done a very interesting thing. I have just checking, because I need to show the amount is negative or positive, right? For that, in order to show out here directly, what I have done, you can see this is the minus that is showing up, but how it is being done, I'm just checking. If the amount which is being passed is greater than 0, then I am showing directly the rupee and then the amount. Now why this is necessary, why I'm checking this up, because if I don't check this up, what happens is the minus will come after the rupee symbol, right? Or the currency symbol, which I don't want. I want the minus to show up before the currency symbol. All right. That's why I'm doing this trick. Now, if the amount is less than 0, then what am I doing? I'm just passing this minus, then the rupee symbol, that is the Indian currency. You can have your own currency also, dollar or anything else. Then I'm passing the amount and multiplying it to -1, because the negative into negative becomes positive, right? And that's how the final result is showing up. We have the minus before the currency symbol. All right. And in order to understand this up, you can just check this out. This is the minus value that I've given in 2 places, and in both the places it is tracked pretty nicely, but I cannot see this the last one because I need to give some padding out there. I'll work on that in the SCSS and then it will be fixed. All right, let's do it up. The things are being placed. It's time to work with the designing part. All right, let's go to the SCSS and work out here. So in the SCSS, at first I'm going to make this particular iron list rounded shape. So let's work on that. So I've already given some class to our iron list. Let's check it out. Yes, I've given a class of transactions, so we can directly work with this particular class. So iron list, where we have the class of transactions, I've given the border radius to be 8VH 8VS on the top left and top right. Bottom left and bottom right, we haven't done anything. So now you can see this is coming up pretty nicely. That's great. Then the next thing I need to work with this particular iron list header. Let's design that up too. So in here, I'm going to work with some other styling. That will be this particular one, where I've given the the background for this particular iron list to be this particular color, the secondary color, and then padding bottom I've given to be 10VH. Now, if I do that up, I can see all the transactions, right, which was not appearing up earlier on. And then what I've done, I've played with the iron list header where I've given padding inline start. So this is the padding which I've given of 3.5VH, and then to the iron list header, the iron item, I'm working with the iron label, and I've just given the font size to be 1.1 rem. So this will have the same font size. All right, this transactions and this name out here. Now after the ion list header is designed and the ion list is also designed, we need to work the ion item within the ion list. And the ion item, I have wrapped it up within the ion item group. There is a reason for that. Let me just explain you that part. So after this particular one, I'm going to paste few more stuff. Let's check this out, what I have done exactly. So I'm using out here the ion item group. All right, let me align it up properly. Okay, now it is aligned. So within the ion item group, I'm giving some padding. That is why I've used it up. So now if I give the padding, it is looking nice. We have some spacing out there at the top and at the bottom too, right? Now this is looking pretty lovely. And I have also worked with the ion item within the ion item group, where I've given the font weight to be bold. Now this is looking lovely, right? These two particular things are looking very nice, but the font weight is applied everywhere, right? Now the background, these are the properties of ion item, default properties. Okay, so we can directly use it. So dash dash is given because it belongs to the ion item directly. So the background of it, I have made it transparent. That is why we can see the same color which was of the ion list. Then the border style, I've given the dash border, means small dashes are there instead of a single line. That looks nice. And then the border color I've given to be the tertiary color. That is why this is looking lovely according to me. Then I've given some padding bottom and padding top, and padding start is I've set it to 0 because I don't want a padding at the start. Otherwise this will take default padding which will be present. You can just check it out right now. Just check this out. Some padding is being given which I don't want. That is why I've given it as 0. Once the 0 is set, everything is looking pretty lovely. Then to the ion text, which is at the slot end, because I have ion text out here also for the p tag one too. That is why I have just mentioned it up pretty nicely to the slot end, where I've given the font size to be 1 rem. And for the p tag, whatever it's there, I have given the font weight to be normal so that it won't take the ion item font weight to be bold. All right. So this will override the one that is being passed out here. And then the font size is a little smaller than the other things which is present, like this one and this one too. And then a margin top of 3 pixels so that we have some spacing between this particular p tag and the title out here, or the ion label which is present. All right, so which makes it pretty much so nicer and cleaner in design, right? You must remember it up, otherwise this will look little congested. So having some space will look pretty nice. Then we are working with this particular ion thumbnail, which is this particular one, where I have given the height and width to be 6 VH. You can change it as per your requirement, but I felt this is taking the full size or proper size of this particular one, so it is properly proportionate to each other. Then I have given a border radius of 10 pixels and a background of white color, which is looking really lovely out here. Then I've given a box shadow, little bit of shadow, so that it will give a good effect to our eyes. So, and the image, I have played around with the height and width. I made it smaller to 4 VH and translate to Y direction of 25%. Otherwise it was appearing at the top part. Let me just show you. If I don't give that, it will just appear at the top part. Just check this out, at the top. I want it at the center, right? That is why I've given 25% transformation from in Y direction from top to bottom. If you give minus 25%, it will go towards the top. All right. So this is what I have done for designing this particular list, and I hope it's done pretty nicely, right? Now we don't have any problem out here because at the bottom I have given the padding that makes it pretty great in design. Right? So this is the homepage design which we have finally built up, and I hope you are liking it up. And the other pages, this will be the transaction one, the card one, and the settings one. So friends, as you can see, this is the same design that we have out here, and it is looking pretty lovely, right? So this is the design which I wanted to build for this particular video, but this is just part one. Don't hurry it up. The coming Sunday, you will see all the other designs for this transaction page, the card page, and the settings page all together in a particular video. So keep watching this particular series. I hope you are liking this particular series, guys. Do let me know in the comment section. Just fill up the comment section, guys. I'm really pumped up to make such videos for you guys. Just let me know in the comment section. So this is it for this particular video. I hope you like this particular video. If you like this video, guys, please hit the like button so that I can understand, okay, fine, you really like this particular video. And if you are new out here, make sure you subscribe to the channel, guys, because this community is growing pretty nicely and pretty rapidly, so you can be a part of it and we can go along in this journey all together. So with this, guys, I'll sign off for the day and I'll see you pretty soon in the next video, which will be the next part of this finance application. So till then, stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you next time.